Hello, class!
Hello, ma'am!
Good morning, everyone!
Good morning, ma'am!
Okay, so before we start, Micah, can you lead us a prayer?
Follow my head and pray. Lord, guide us for this day, and this is this day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen!
Amen! So, kindly take your seats, class.
Thank you, ma'am!
Okay, so I've noticed that there are pieces of paper under your chair. So kindly pick up the pieces of papers and align your chairs, class, please. Okay, very good, class. Now, let's settle down in your chairs quietly. So let's take a look in today's attendance. Samantha, can you check today's attendance?
Everyone is present, ma'am.
Okay, that's good to hear. So before we go to our formal discussion, we will have a recap of our class rules. So number 1 of the 5 classroom rules is remember the one mouth rule. Number 2, raise your hand if you want to say something. Number 3, do not make any unnecessary noises. Number 4, avoid any form of distractions and actively participate during class discussion. Last but not the least, always enjoy and have fun as you learn. Is that clear, class?
Yes, ma'am!
Very good. Before we proceed to our formal discussion, we will have a activity. So this activity is entitled Sing the Missing Lines. So are you excited for our class sing-along?
Yes, ma'am!
That's good to know. So there are lyrics flashed on the screen and we will sing to these lyrics. And if you know the missing lyrics of the song, you can raise your hand and actually sing the missing lyrics of the song. So let's start with our first song. 1, 2, 3, go!
Di ako'y nakalutang na sa langit, ngunit nalulunod sa iyong mga ngiti.
Okay, what's the next lyric? So I first saw Joanne raise her hand. So Joanne, what's the next lyrics?
Ako hanggang dito lang talaga tayo, hindi pababayaan ang daang tinahat na kapika.
That's good. But let's see if that's the right lyrics. Wow! That's great, Joanne! Nice job. That's the right lyrics. Okay, let's proceed to our second song. 1, 2, 3, go!
Di mo alam dahil sa'yo, ako'y di makakain, di rin makatulog buhat ng iyong lukohin.
What's the next one? Okay, I saw Micah raise her hand. Micah?
Kung ako'y muling iibig, sana di maging katulad mo, tulad mo na may pusong bato.
Wow! That's great. So let's see. You seem very familiar with the song. Okay, let's see the lyrics. Wow! That's good! Exactly. Okay, for the third one, let's sing this. 1, 2, 3, go!
Lagi kang naaalala ang iyong ngiti at forma, at kapag siya ay nakita, kinikilig ako talaga. Di naman siya sobrang gwapo, ngunit siya ang type na type ko. Bakit ba ganito ang nadarama ng puso ko?
Next. Okay, I saw Samantha. Let's hear it from her.
Mr. Cupido,
Stop our hands.
ako naman tulungan mo. Bakit di palain ang kanyang damdamin at nang ako ay mapansin?
Wow! That's so great. Here, you're saying what Samantha. But let's see if that's the right lyrics. Okay. Wow, that's it! Okay, good job, good job. Okay, so last but not the least, here's the last lyrics for today. So let's sing it last. 1, 2, 3, go!
Ang awitin ito'y para sa'yo, at kung maubos ang tinig, di magsisi, dahil iyong narinig mula sa labi ko.
What's the next?
Salamat! Salamat! Yeah, yeah, yeah!
Okay, let's give now we will have our class objective for today. Okay, Micah, can you kindly read our class objectives for our lesson today?
So, our objectives for today. At the end of the lesson, at least 75% of the students should be able to first, define figure of speech, simile, metaphor, and personification. Second, identify the simile, metaphor, and personification used in the poem. And lastly, show appreciation to Philippine literature through the help of the figures of speech.
Okay, thank you, Micah, for reading our objectives. I hope that our objectives are clear to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so before we proceed, we will have another activity entitled Look Out For Me. Okay, class, are you excited again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here it will be flashed a poem of Jose Palma entitled Filipinas. So let's read it, class. Okay, let's start. Go!
Land of the morning, child of the sun returning, with fervor burning, thee do our souls adore. Land dear and holy, cradle of noble heroes, near shall invaders trample thy sacred shore. Ever within thy skies and through thy clouds, and o'er thy hills and seas, do we behold the radiant fields enthralled of glory, liberty. Thy banner dear to all our hearts, its sun and stars alike.
Okay, good.
Oh, never shall its shining fields be dimmed by tyrant's might.
Good.
Beautiful land of love, oh land of light, in thine embrace is structure to life.
Okay.
But it is glory ever when thou art wrong, for us thy sons to suffer and die.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for reading. And before we proceed to our actual activity, I want you to know that this Filipinas poem, this is the English version of our pambansang awit, which is Lupang
Mira!
Okay, that's good. So, seeing all this, I want you to identify the images that will be appearing on our screens. And I want you to extract the passage, the exact passage that describes the image in the first and to the last image that will be presented in the screen. So number one, as we can see, there's a sun. Okay, we can see it's this picture. So what exact passage is this? Okay. Let's see. How about, let's go for John. What's your answer?
The number one, ma'am, is land of the morning.
Good morning. Let's see. Wow, very good. Exactly. That's the land of the morning. Okay. Next picture, we can see a line of crosses usually found in the cemetery. Next, there are Philippine flags in each crosses. So, what exact passage in the poem does this picture actually instruct us to?
Ma'am,
Okay, let's see. Same hands.
Mom,
How about Micah?
Mom, the picture depicts as the cradles of the noble heroes.
Cradle of Noble Heroes. Let's see. Wow, very good. Very good. That's right. Okay, thank you, Micah. Okay, let's go for the next picture, which actually depicts, okay, there's a hill, there's clouds, there's the horizon. What image is this? What line in the poem does this image depict? Okay, same hands, but let's go for Samantha.
the passage of the fig is ever within thy skies and through thy clouds and o'er thy hills and seas.
Okay, let's see if that's correct. Wow, very good, Sam. That's correct. Let's give her a round of applause, class. Okay. The fourth picture. Wow. I think this is very familiar with all of us.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's our Philippine national flag. Okay. So what exact line does this picture actually shows? No hands. I'll call on Micah.
Oh.
Yes.
So the picture shows that the banner due to all our hearts, its sun and stars alike.
For sure. Okay, let's see. Wow, it's correct. Very good, Micah. Okay, give it up, class. I love the momentum. Okay, next is the last picture, last but not the least. It shows a mother with her son, and there's a sunset. What is this all about? What line does this picture actually depict? Okay. Let's see. Seeing hands again. How about Samantha?
It will be the child of the sun returning, ma'am.
Okay, that's good. Okay, let's see. Okay, very good. Let's clap our hands for that. Okay, thank you, Samantha. Good job, class. Good job for this activity. And now, as we go back, have you learned something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, class, let's go back to our activity. So, you have noticed that there are passages written on the poem, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, what have you noticed with those passages? Okay, may I call on Joanne?
They all match the description of each picture, ma'am.
Okay, that's correct. Thank you, Joanne. As we can see that these words actually presented earlier and shown in the activity actually matches, right? Actually matches the said lyric, the said line in the poem. Okay, that's good. So, class, what do you think if the author didn't use these words? Okay, I can see less hands raising right now. But let me call on Micah. What's your answer, Micah?
For me, ma'am, I think the poem will be not attractive to read.
Okay, thank you, Micah, for that. And it's true. If the author didn't use those words, the poem maybe, no, not maybe, but it will come out dry. So the reader won't be very interested in what he or she is reading. So next, so I would like to call on Samantha. Okay, Samantha, please stand up. So it's a question for you. So what do you think is the first line and second line meant in the poem of Philippines?
I think, ma'am, it talks about the Philippines being the land of the morning sun.
Okay, as we go forth for that, thank you, Samantha, for that. And I can see that your answer is correct. That's correct. Thank you. So next, can you tell me why the Philippines is called the cradle of noble heroes? Can someone tell me why the Philippines is called a cradle of noble heroes? Okay, you can see the same hands. Okay, Micah, you see you're eager to answer.
Mom, for me, I think it is called is the cradle of noble heroes because there are so many heroes from Philippines that have been died just to protect our country from colonizers.
Okay, that's correct. Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Micah. And yes, that's right. So this question, according to what we have shown and you have seen, are these examples figurative or literal expressions? Okay, let's give it for John.
They are all figurative, ma'am.
Okay, that's correct. Thank you, John. That's nice. That's nice that you are really active, class. Thank you for your active participation. And next, last question. Through the said activity, what can you impart about the Philippine literature? What can you impart? Oh, I can see Samantha very eager to answer. Okay, Samantha?
Ma'am, I do appreciate how our Philippine literature is rich in depiction of culture, just like the piece you have read earlier.
Okay, that's good. Okay, thank you, Samantha. So class, I want to emphasize that the expression of the poem that you have just read are not taken literally. Okay, as we have said earlier. As Joanne said, it's figurative. And for that, thank you, Sam, for as we can see here with our previous activity, our lesson for today actually tackles about the figure of speech. I believe some of you are quite familiar with this, but our topic is figure of speech concerning simile, metaphor, and personification. So there are many types of figures of speech, but we will only focus on these three for today. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So may I call on Samantha? Is this figures of speech quite familiar to you?
Yes, ma'am. It's kind of familiar to me because I have heard or read it from somewhere.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so the first figure of speech that we're going to tackle for today is simile. So flash here, simile. So I would like Micah to read the definition of simile.
So, simile. A simile is a figure of speech that compares two different things in an interesting way. It uses the word like or as in comparing two things.
Okay. Okay, that's good. As we can see, here are the examples of simile. So number one, as cute as
Kitten.
as happy as a
Lamb.
as blind as a
Bat.
as cold as
Ice.
as sweet as
Sugar.
As you can see, class, it's actually really easy to understand what is simile. So simile actually uses the word as and like in comparing two things. Interesting, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So, as you have read the definition and as you have seen the examples, I would like to call on again Micah. And can you give me an example of a simile?
For me now, an example of simile is as free as a bird.
Okay, that's great. That's right, Micah. That's right. As free as a bird, that actually signifies also freedom. That's good. I like that. Okay, as Micah has given us an example of simile, how about Samantha? Okay, Samantha.
Shine like a star.
Wow, that's great. Shine like a star. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, is simile quite clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
That's good. Okay, let's proceed to the next figure of speech. It is called metaphor. So I would like to call on John to read the description, the definition of metaphor.
Metaphor. A metaphor is a figure of speech that used to make a comparison between two things that aren't alike but do have something in common. Unlike a simile, where two things are compared directly using the word like or as. A metaphor's comparison is more indirect, usually made by stating something is something else. A metaphor is very expressive. It is not meant to be taken literally.
Okay, pause. A metaphor, last line. A metaphor shouldn't be taken literally. So, okay. But let's see. What are the examples of metaphor? So number one, let me read to you, class. He is a shining star. The thunder was a mighty lion. You are my sunshine. You see, life is a roller coaster. The world is a stage. As you can see, class, metaphor doesn't actually define the usual, but the metaphor actually doesn't define the literal, but gives meaning. As you can see, the world is a stage. Diba? The world isn't fixed just like a stage, isn't this little, but the world is a stage. It actually speaks about something that is
Vulgar.
vulgar, quite. You, John, do you have something to say?
No, ma'am.
So that, my friends, that my class is meant not to be taken literally, but usually by stating something else. Okay, is it quite clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. John, so you read the definition Can you please give me your own example of a metaphor?
Yes, ma'am. Your emotion is your greatest enemy.
Wow. Very deep. Very deep.
It's okay, brother.
Your emotion is your greatest
Enemy.
Do you agree with that, class?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, that's true. Thank you, Joanne. Okay. So, is metaphor quite clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Or is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I like that. Next, let's move forward with personification. Okay, Samantha, can you please read me personification?
Personification is a type of metaphor and a common literary tool. It is when you assign the qualities of a person to something that isn't human or that isn't even alive, such as nature or household items.
That's correct. Okay, so let me show you, class, the examples of personification. So, one of the examples here is the flowers waltz in gentle breeze. Next, the wind sang through the meadow. Next, the ocean danced in the moonlight. Her light wandered past. The sun glared down at me from the sky. So, isn't it quite poetic?
Yes.
Personification, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It sounds so beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So I would like to ask the class to have their own example of personification. Okay, let's move forward with Micah. Do you have any examples that you want to share with personification?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Okay, let's stand up.
So, an example of personification.
Personification.
Sorry.
Okay, take your time. Personification.
Personification is that the sky cried heavy rain all night.
Oh, wow.
So good.
And that's correct. That's correct. Thank you, Micah. Okay, good job, class. But I want to ask you something. Do you have any classifications?
None, ma'am.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, class. Okay, right now, as you have said that you do not have any clarification, let's see to it what you have learned. Okay. Right now, please keep your notebooks, and I want you to get a half sheet of paper, for we will have our. Okay. Let's see. Okay, do you have your papers now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so number one, let's answer this. So directions here, get a half sheet of paper, and you will actually do this for 5 minutes. So number one, define the following briefly. So you will define simile, you will define metaphor, and you will also define personification. Okay, let's see. Okay, write it down, class. Okay, are you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, another minute. Okay, let's proceed to number 2. Okay, number 2. So what's the difference between metaphor and simile? Okay, what's the difference between metaphor and simile? I think it's quite an easy answer, class. Okay, let's proceed to number 3.
Wait, ma'am, wait.
Okay. A minute. I'll give you 1 minute. Just write brief and concise answer, class. Okay, number 3. Let's proceed. Give each figure of speech an example or examples. Okay. You can give an example or examples. You can give an example for simile. You can give an example for metaphor. You can give an example for personification. Okay. So, are you finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, right now, let's answer number 1. So, who wants to answer number 1? Who wants to answer number 1? Okay, I'll pick you, John.
Number 1, ma'am, my answer is that simile used for comparing two things using the word like or as.
Wait. I think that's the answer for number 2. Oh, number 1 is define the following briefly. So, who wants to answer number 1? Okay. Okay, my God. You want to answer the word briefly. So, what is simile? What is metaphor? What is personification?
The 3, ma'am, you should, give
Fine.
definition.
Okay.
The 3.
Yes, yes. Okay. Wait. Before we ask for someone to help Micah, you can go on. You can go on. Answer first.
I only have metaphor and personification.
Oh, okay, okay. Try
I
your
just
best.
answer
Okay.
metaphor this way.
Okay.
So for me, ma'am, I answer metaphor that it is used for comparing two things without like or as.
Okay. Quite good. How about personification? You said you had an answer for personification. Who wants to help me now, or you want to be helped? Okay, Sam. Personification.
Well, personification, ma'am, is giving human qualities or characteristics to a non-human object.
Wow, that's good. Okay, that's the exact meaning for personification. But I commend Micah for trying your best to find metaphor. How about simile? Simile. Jo?
I'll try, ma'am.
Okay.
Simile. Wait, ma'am, ha. Simile is a figure of speech that compares two different things in an interesting way.
Okay.
While the
Well, the
metaphor is also a figure of speech that used to make a comparison between two things that aren't alike but do have something in common.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Okay, let's move to the second question. I think it was answered by Joanne earlier, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you repeat your answer for the second question?
The second question, ma'am, my answer is simile is used for comparing two things using the word like or as.
Okay, that's good. Okay, let's proceed. Last but not the least, give me an example of each of the figure of speech. Okay, same hands, same hands. Okay, John really wants to answer. Okay, let's give it to her.
So, example, right, ma'am?
Okay, yes.
My simile, ma'am, is as brave as a bear.
Okay.
For my metaphor, you are the sugar to my life.
Wow!
And for the personification is the willow tree is weeping silently in the evening night.
Wow!
Okay, thank
So
you.
good.
Thank you for your aid. Thank you. And as we can see that we individually checked our papers. You can pass your papers here. Okay. Next, let's proceed to our assessment. Okay, your assessment. That we would actually apply how would we identify the figure of speech in a poem. So here, through this, you students would actually read some lines from different poems. And you will determine if this poem would be simile, would be metaphor, or personification. Okay, so you can see here, there are 5 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be flashed on the screen. Okay, so you can also answer your assessment at the back portion of your sheet of paper. Answer. Okay, pass. Very good. So you can submit your papers right now. Okay, there. You can submit the papers there. Okay, thank you. Pass. And okay. So did you learn something about
Yes,
our
ma'am.
lesson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you satisfied with our lesson?
Yes, ma'am.
That's
So
great.
good.
That's great. That's great. we will know what did you learn through our assignment. So, who is excited for our assignment?
Kami, ma'am.
Yes! So, yun. So, our assignment is here. Okay, class, you will have your assignments and it is already flashed there. Okay. So, you will submit your assignment in our private Facebook group and you will actually have to make, okay, what? Show appreciation on the poem, Filipinas, through making your own poster that depicts the sad piece. The criteria of judging will be posted on our private Facebook group. God bless you. When to submit? Wednesday, July 21, 2021. No, not next year, but this year. Class, where to submit? Posted on our private Facebook group. And the number of points, class, don't forget, this is 50 points.
Whoa.
So do your best in accomplishing this.
Mom, what is the materials that we're going to use?
Oh, you can either have a digital poster or you can do a traditional one. It depends on you. Okay, thank you, class. So that's it for today. That's it for today, class. So that's the end of our class. And right now, let's stand. Let's stand and let's bow down our head. Let's pray. Yes, Lord, Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for this class, oh God. Thank you, Lord, for the new learnings that we had. And Lord, we seal it in your blood. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
So good day, class.
Good day and thank you, Mom.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye, Ma'am.
Bye, Mom.